What's up guys, Utopian Wonder right here in Brazil. Finally I made it, finally the trip is starting, finally it's all happening. 2019 is gonna be an amazing year. And yeah, I'm here in Brazil, in Rio de Janeiro, right in the middle of the botanical garden right now. Very exciting first episode. It's all about Samba and Carnaval. The Carnaval is only happening in a few days from now. And in the lead up to the Carnaval, I had the chance to spend time with a few schools, a few Samba schools here in Rio. O Império Serrano, o Paraíso do Tuiuti, os Salgueiros, and there's gonna be street rehearsals, there's gonna be TV rehearsals, and there's gonna be rehearsals in the Sambodromo, which is where the Carnaval is happening. This is exciting. There's gonna be a lot of great stuff. Also some interviews. Nubia and Sashya, a couple of passistas from some of those schools, were very nice to have spent some time with me just to answer a few questions about what it means to be a passista. Yeah, a lot of great stuff. I'm gonna stop talking and I'm gonna go right into it. Let's do it. Okay, one thing you should know about Carnaval is that it's an institution here in Rio. Not just in Rio, across Brazil, because there's not just the Rio Carnaval, there's Sao Paulo, there's all other places. And it's maybe even more like a religion actually. People have jerseys in the colors of the schools. I got to see some of their reactions when going into the Sambodromo just for technical rehearsals, but people are full on. They really love their schools there, which is understandable. Carnaval's got a very rich history. It started in the early 1900s, where the first Samba schools pretty much started to organize themselves, and there was soon after there's the first parade with a few schools and the first competition. It's been going on every year since then. Yeah, I got the chance to actually spend time with one of these schools during one of their TV rehearsals. I mean, not just one, couple of schools during the TV rehearsals, and yeah, you guys check that out, and I'll catch back with you guys later. Hello beautiful people, the Utopian Wonder right here, right in the middle of the city of Samba, a cidade do Samba. A cidade do Samba is a central place for Samba in Rio, because this is where every Samba school in Rio, at least the bigger ones, keep their floats going through the Sambodromo at the Carnaval. So hopefully you guys can hear me, because those guys are very loud, but I mean, I don't mind. The music is amazing. I'm loving this. I am seriously loving this. So right now the band is performing, then you'll have the dancers, and I'll be filming while they perform for the national TV. Stay tuned, food is coming, and honestly enjoy the music. Enjoy this. This is the big one. Absolutely everyone is lighting up for the final part of the show. Everyone's here. I'll try to not mess it up. I'll try.
É uma
during one of those rehearsals, I got to spend some time with Sashya and Nubia, two passistas, with very different backgrounds when it comes to their story with Samba, but who met in Sydney and who are promoting a special project called Samba International, which means International School of Samba, which promotes not just Samba as a dance, but as a lifestyle, as a culture. There are a lot of people involved. There's a lot of history when it comes to Samba. But I'm gonna let Sashya and Nubia explain that because they do that so much better than me. Check that out. Check out their interview.
So hello guys, we're here with Nubia and Sashya after recording Global TV, right? And so how was it?
It was good. It's our third one.
Yes.
The last one.
Yes.
Because we're in 3 different schools, so we had to do this 3 times.
Yeah. The whole program lasts about an hour. Each element of the parade of the school gets featured. So like the bayanas, the bateria, the
They show
passistas.
inside the barraco.
Yes. They give you like a little snippet of one of the floats.
So it goes for about, I think it's 3 weeks, and they do a different school each day.
There's 14 schools in the Especial division this year, which is the top division.
Yeah.
And then under that is what's called Serie A. And I think there's 12.
Yeah.
A little bit of the background, like can you just explain to us like where you come from and how you got to do Samba and what's your story with Samba?
You start.
Me?
You start.
Okay, so I'm Brazilian. I was born in Brazil, but my family moved to Australia, and that's where I was raised. And I think when I was about 12, 13 years old, I was in a Brazilian restaurant and they had this Samba show. And that was my first real time seeing Samba, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, fell in love straight away, and I was like, I want to be a dancer, I want to do that. When I was 18, I was finally allowed to join the company and start doing shows, and then through that I met Sashya.
Yep.
And then we kind of just like started doing shows together, but it wasn't until like really 3 years ago, right, that this became like our life. And we've come to Brazil now 4 times together. Like we're here for months, training. We're a part of 3 different schools.
Yeah.
How about you, Sashya?
Okay, so I grew up in Jamaica. So I grew up in the Caribbean, and I was surrounded a lot by Latin and Brazilian culture, like traveling to the States and Miami and stuff like that. Then my parents moved to Australia, and it was the complete opposite of the Caribbean or anything that I was familiar with. So I gravitated towards the Latinos and the Brazilians because there wasn't a big Jamaican population in Australia at the time. And I'd always loved the drums, that connection to the Afrocentric roots of the culture, which in Jamaica, it's, you know, it's all intertwined. I started dancing as a hobby, like a way to keep me sane and fun, and I again just gravitated towards the Brazilian styles. Started doing shows, met Nubia, we did a lot of shows together in Australia, and then we decided to start this project 3 years ago because we realized that what was happening in the Western world and its representation of Samba was quite different to what was actually happening in Brazil. So we really wanted to share the truth and the reality, and to maintain the integrity of the culture outside Brazil, for those people who are representing Samba outside Brazil. It's very glamorized and it's very easily, is there a word, propagandized? I'm making up that word right now. But you know, people fail to really understand the meaning of it. So we wanted to kind of come and
the struggles and the truth that really goes on here.
And what it's like to be a passista or a professional Samba dancer in the schools. You don't get paid, required to be wherever they want you to be.
At whatever time they need
Long
you to be.
hours.
You would say it's really a passion.
It's a
Yeah.
huge
Like
passion. It's completely a lifestyle. Yeah.
Like talking about a lifestyle, what goes into becoming a passista?
A lot of hard work, a lot of passion, a lot of dedication, and it's just pure love because you don't get paid. You like
You don't get
everyone's here.
rewarded either. So
No.
a lot of passistas in Brazil start from when they're really young. They have the alas that are for kids in the schools. So most of them come in at like 5 or 6 years of age,
Yeah.
and they go through the system. So most of the passistas, you know, like the ones that are killing it are like 15 years old.
Yeah.
So
They're
it's
so young.
it's a family comunidade thing where they're part of the school community, and then they grow that way. But it is literally a lot of commitment to ensayos and training. And just you don't have a lot of time for yourself if you're a passista because you're
There's
dedicated.
a lot of commitment.
A lot of commitment.
A lot of commitment.
And in the actual desfile, which a lot of people don't know outside Brazil, so in the parade, the Ala das Passistas, the section, you are dressed according to the theme of the Carnaval. So the passistas aren't the ones wearing the glamorous costumes. Those are the queens, the rainas de bateria and the musas, and that's why those positions are quite coveted, and people pay a lot for those positions because you get to wear the glamorous costume. And
You get to wear pretty like it's not what you want because the carnavalesco will like make a drawing,
Yes.
but it's like you can say, oh, I want a 2-piece or I want a 1-piece, and he try and incorporates that in the theme. While the passistas, you're just given whatever they've decided that you're wearing that year.
Exactly.
And sometimes it's heavy, sometimes it's made out of plastic, sometimes you can't dance in it,
Yeah.
and that's the other thing. Like passistas work so hard all year round for the carnival day, and you get there and you can't even dance because your costume's ridiculous.
It's really true. Yeah.
You don't get them until we'll get them next week,
Yeah.
the week of.
Okay, so
Yeah.
very, very last
Sometimes
Yeah.
the day before. Some unfortunate schools get them the day off, and that's just enough.
Yeah.
You better have your pins, your hot glue gun,
Hope it
all these
fits.
things to like
Your
make sure it
shoes
fits.
sometimes are too big. Last year I had blisters because my shoes were way too big and it was just rubbing the whole parade.
It's crazy because on TV we see it like it looks so perfect, like everything is just super tight, but in the backstage it's completely different.
Yeah, you just got to push through because at the end of the day, people don't realize it's bigger than one person. It's bigger than just you. This is a whole community coming together to put this forth. So you just got to put on your smile.
It's very
brush off
much
your shoulders,
about
lift your head,
teamwork.
go.
It's community and it's
Yeah.
teamwork. Like imagine each parade can have up to 3,000, sometimes more people.
6,000 people.
6,000 people if the schools are big, and you're just a part of this huge machine.
Yeah.
And you have to remember that. If you go in and go in there thinking it's all about me, then you're losing the spirit of Carnaval.
Yeah, you forget what this is about. It's not
It's
about
really
you.
the group. And talking about the group, today you guys were recording for Académicos dos Salgueiros.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that Samba school? If you got to choose the school that you wanted to perform with, and if so, why that school?
So the reason why we're a part of this school is because of Carlinhos, and he's the director of Passista at Salgueiro.
It's like the choreographer at Salgueiro.
He does
the dances,
everything.
the
He
shows.
does the floats. He does choreographs different alas now. Like he gets everyone to sing, and he also has the makulele ala, which is like a dance show ala. Really.
Yeah, it's Afrofusion.
He pretty much choreographs everything to do with Salgueiro, except for the Comissão de Frente. He's usually a part of it or involved with it somehow. And he came to Australia.
Over 3 years ago now.
Yeah.
We trained extensively with him there. Came to Brazil and trained extensively with him a few months after. And then the following year he accredited us as 2 of only 4 international dancers to teach his signature style. So we have a really strong relationship with him, and it's through that we're in.
Yeah.
But it's taken us 3 years to get to this level of
Yeah.
involvement in Salgueiro. It's been a lot of work and a lot of dedication and
A lot of training.
a lot of training. It's
A lot of being screamed at.
yeah, it's not for the faint-hearted.
No.
But the other 2 schools, Império Serrano, we came and we auditioned for Império 3 just under 3 years ago.
Yeah.
We got into that ala and we love it. It's a very comunidade-based school
Yes.
in Madureira. And then last year we auditioned for
For
Parecido Tuichi.
Are they performing on the same day?
Yes.
2 are.
Two
Yes.
are performing on the same day, on the Sunday.
We did it last
We
year.
did it last
twice.
year.
So we have 2 schools in between. So we do Império Serrano, then there's 2 schools,
schools in it.
and then there's Salgueiro.
Which is not that bad
That's not bad.
because each school goes for about, an hour and 10, 20 minutes.
You have the time to get to the Sambodromo, walk around.
Yeah.
It's if the school is back to back, which we had last year at the Champions
It was
Parade.
insane.
We literally exited the Sambodromo, ran down the side in heavy costumes.
In
we're
heels.
stripping, and the second school was starting as we were getting ready to get into the next
Yeah.
costume. So
We're putting
that's,
on our costume and joining the line.
I'm not saying that I recommend this.
No.
People ask us, "Oh, would you do it?" I'm like, maybe levels of insanity, but for us, it's worth it. It's pushed us beyond our comfort zones and beyond
Yeah.
Uh,
any limits.
I noticed during the recording, there's so many different groups. You were talking about the Comissão da Frente, as Baianas. Can you detail a bit more all the different groups and what are their roles in the
Sure.
the parade?
The first one to parade is the Comissão de Frente. They pretty much set the scene or set the plot, like what is the story that's going to be told, which is called the enredo, and it's choreographed and it can be so extensive. Sometimes they have a float, they have props, and it's one of the sections that they spend a lot of money on.
So it's the only section that dancers get paid for. They audition, and it's extensive audition process months before Carnival, and then rigorous training
Rehearsals,
every day.
yeah, every day in the rain. It doesn't matter. They're rehearsed.
Starting 11 o'clock at night, finishing at 3 in the morning. So it's a very, very important part of the parade.
And that section is also judged. They get points. There's also global awards, the best Comissão de Frente. So it's something that the school really invests in because it's worth a lot.
Yes.
Then there's the passistas.
Yes.
That's what
Talked a
we're
lot
in.
about that,
Yes.
yep.
There's the Baianas. So the Baianas goes back to the roots and how Carnival came to be, because Samba was prohibited, it was banned, you couldn't do Samba. So what they did is like they had these houses, whereas the Baianas, they kind of allowed people to practice Samba or sing in their backyards. Every school has to have an ala de Baianas, because it's like a way to remember what they've done for Samba and what they've done for Carnival. They're not judged. Also, like the passistas are not judged. They don't count as points for your school.
But it's a prerequisite to have those
Two alas.
in the school. There's the velha guarda.
Yes, the
which
velha
are
guarda.
the,
They're people that have been a
elders of the
part
community.
of the school for a long
Yeah.
time. They've done a lot for the school. Some schools have multiple velha
Velha
guarda
guardas.
alas. Some people have been there for like 50 years. Some people have
Yeah.
been there for 70 years.
Yeah.
So then they will have different sections.
And then you have also the kahu, so the
Yeah.
floats, what people call in the West. And they are more commercial. Some cars are choreographed, so if the kahus are choreographed, then there needs to be
have
rehearsals. And then the abrialas is the first car that opens the parade.
Yeah.
So after the Commission de French.
Yeah, and it's usually the most elaborate because it's like starting off the parade with a bang. There's also the compositores,
Yep.
which are the people that write the songs, as they usually parade as well.
There's also now a lot of schools are having choreographed alas. So like Salgueiro has the Makulele ala, which is a choreographed dancer ala. Last
Yeah.
year there was a couple of schools with
Yeah.
choreographed alas.
There's the commercial alas.
Yes.
And then there's community alas. So the people that we're filming here today, they're always people that are a part of the community section. So like the passistas, the Baianas, they're community alas. There's also people that will come to rehearsals every week. They're not in the Baianas or the passistas, but they're in a community ala.
And sometimes they have little bits of choreo, like
Yeah.
a little flag, or do something this way, move this way.
And then there's the commercial alas, which anyone can be a part of.
yeah, just buy a costume and off you go.
Yes. Means like it's
For
paid
sale.
for.
So a lot of tourists will jump in
Yeah.
commercial alas, for example.
Like a commercial ala will be more expensive, a community ala will be cheaper because you're a part of the community and you're there at rehearsals all the time. You're paying your community fee by being there and singing.
And then the featured positions on the float are called destaques.
Yes.
So the higher up you are, or the like more unique a costume you're in, it's more of a coveted position. Like a
So those positions are more expensive.
much more
as well.
expensive, as are the musa positions on the floor.
On the floor as well.
Yeah.
You were saying that you've been here for 3 years already. What makes you want to just come back year after year after year? And are you going to be coming back in the next year, in a couple of years, and so on?
Yeah, we'll definitely be back next year.
Yes, it's a lot of, I think it really is love and it's
Yeah.
passion for this. And sometimes in the middle of it, we go, why are we doing this? And can it be over now? Because you're so tired.
Tired,
Like the levels of exhaustion, the heat, the dancing every single day till late hours, not sleeping.
rain.
We also bring people here on tour. So in addition to us actually working on our own artistic journeys and
yeah.
endeavors as dancers, we have a tour.
We're helping other
groups.
people like achieve
Yeah.
their dreams and stuff.
Yeah,
you know?
so we have like 35 people this year
Yeah.
that are coming, and so we also allocate different sections of the parade to them according to their level of dancing. We have auditions for certain sections, and some of them are on the kahu, and so it's a lot of juggling of time and energy, but it's
nothing,
worth it.
Nothing compares to that
Nothing.
moment when you enter the avenida and
Yeah.
like
Oh,
it's like
I've got goosebumps.
goosebumps
Yeah.
and like I'm always crying.
Yeah,
like
she's crying. I'm goosebumping, sometimes crying.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
There's
crazy.
just nothing
It's
like
amazing,
that feeling.
and yeah, and it's amazing to watch people come here with us, like for the first time, and really
And they get
experience
to
the culture,
experience.
and it just brings so much joy, and it's essentially bringing awareness to
Yeah.
foreigners about, like we said, why we started this project. Give credit back to this art form and this culture that has given us so much. So yeah, we'll be back.
Talking about that project, can you tell a little bit
Yeah,
more
so the
about
project is called Samba Internacional. When we started it initially, the intention was to sort of start it as an educational blog
and
videos, and we started training and doing classes and sharing, again, the authenticity, the integrity of Samba. And we both also teach Samba. So then we started to, decided to put our school, both our respective schools and classes under the same brand. So we have then Escola de Samba Internacional. It's grown so much, we now have the Australia Samba Congress. So that's an annual event in Sydney, Australia, where we bring artists from Brazil. People can go, and it's part of a greater brand, which is originates here, the Brazil Samba Congress. So there's Brazil, Canada, Australia. Now there's Los Angeles, Europe, and that's about all the elements, I think. So Samba International is the mothership. Basically, our guiding principle is to foster the integrity of Samba culture globally. So with all those avenues, training, education,
just
vlog.
letting really people see the truth behind
Yeah.
the glamour that people just see on the outside.
Exactly.
So we're trying to peel that away so you can actually see the roots.
Exactly.
Nubia, Sashya, thank you so much.
You're so
for
welcome.
spending
Thank
some time
you.
with us.
We'll see you again covered in glitter, right?
Yeah, totally will.
You're
If
next.
you have one last word for our viewers to come to Rio or to experience Samba once in a while, what would you say to them?
Yeah, I would say that definitely do it. You know, people are always going to say, oh, it's so dangerous, like, I wouldn't go there, risk it, blah, blah, blah. Like, definitely come.
It's so worth it. There's no...
There's no words to describe
There's no
the
words to
feeling.
describe Carnaval. It literally is the greatest show on earth.
And it's way bigger than what you think it is.
Your mind cannot perceive how big it is. And it's an incredible feeling. It's more than just viewing the actual parades.
Yeah.
It's an energy and an experience you can't have unless you're here. So I say it's definitely worth it. Come to Brazil. There's so many options. We'd love to have you.
So yeah, thanks to Sashya's and Nubia's insight into the life of a passista, training and all that, you can see that it is really a passion. It's not just a hobby that you do just for fun. You need dedication. You need dedication and you need endurance. Like they say, a little bit of craziness that goes with it.